feeling like I'm academics. Can't ride no wave.
What should we get to? Should we get to? Oh, you want me to get to the Depo stuff? I can get to the deposition stuff and then Nicki Minaj. Okay. Let me give you the breakdown, chat. Let me give you the breakdown. So, and I want to make this abundantly clear because I do see there's a few, I guess maybe Roc Nation shills on Twitter and whatever that essentially they, for them, maybe they just hate me or maybe they just hate bloggers, period. But in their mind, they're like, man, shut the fuck up. We're just glad that Meg Thee Stallion and Roc Nation, they're getting you for talking shit. Now, I want to make this abundantly clear that if you have that thought that Akademiks or whatever blogger talks too much shit so they should get sued, I hope you also feel that it's unfair that Drake's lawsuit was dismissed when someone calls him a pedophile, whether it's artistically or not. Because everything does kind of mix with it. When you're talking about a public figure, when you're talking about them as in a term of this is what I think, this is my opinion, or you're even engaged in maybe in a rap battle, it appears that the courts have kind of said this falls within free speech where your opinion cannot be dictated, mandated, or even directed by any other figure. For whatever reason, it appears that Roc Nation is sick and tired of bloggers like me, Milagros, streamers like Aiden, and others not accepting the propaganda that, so to speak, they're putting out, which is that she's a victim. Now, they haven't filed official legal language with me or haven't sued me or they haven't sued Aiden, nor have they sued Drake, or nor have they sued Nicki Minaj. And I'll tell you how the rest of the people kind of connect to it. But they have chosen to sue one person, and it's a blogger. Her name is Milagro. They said her full name when I was on the thing today. It was like Elizabeth Cooper. Some people might know her as Milagro Grams. This is a picture of her here. Now, some of you guys might know while the Tory trial was going on, as I do with many different trials, that's how I found Lauren Conlon, Sean G during the Diddy trial. When it came to the Tory trial, I kind of leaned on people that were in court. One of those people was Milagro Grams. She's being sued by Nicki Minaj. She's been sued by Meg Thee Stallion, who claims that she has defamed her. Now, I'm not going to get into the weeds of what the full accusations are, because maybe Milagro did do some things that, we might think is disgusting or, oh, you went too far. But I've maintained over time that if you think that Meg Thee Stallion is someone who's a liar, I think that's a valid opinion. That is my opinion, by the way. I've thought Meg Thee Stallion is a liar. Why do I say that? I don't say maliciously. I go off what I believe to be facts, and it appears to be facts when we see her say on Gayle King, I've never had sex with Tory Lanez, and then she admits subsequently later in a documentary about the case that was for her, she says, I did lie. I think a lot of us knew she lied then. I don't know how you guys take it, but usually when someone lies, oftentimes for me, I'm like, if you lie about the little things, that one homeboy, he'll lie about anything. You'd be like, yo, all right, shit. Yeah, we know you went out last time, but what store you went to? And he can't even tell you that. He's like, now I went over here. And you're like, bro, why do you have to lie about that, right? I've thought that was Meg Thee Stallion. Because of that, throughout the entire case, I've always been skeptical about her point of view. And even after there was a conviction, which I do admit there was, I definitely thought that Meg Thee Stallion is a untrustworthy person. Now, after being unable to secure the victim vote, it appears that years or maybe months or whatever after, not only are they suing Milagro Grams, Roc Nation, and I'm gonna say Roc Nation. I wanna admit, and I'll say this, and Roc Nation, if you're gonna file another lawsuit, you could clip this part. I'm saying this colloquially because Roc Nation, which manages Meg Thee Stallion, they also share the same law firm as Meg Thee Stallion, from what I've seen, Quinn Emanuel. That law firm has been in a huge effort to try to silence or convince doubters of Meg Thee Stallion that she's A, not a liar, B, which is the most important, a victim, and C, thirdly, a sympathetic figure. That's what I've seen. Okay? So they served me with a deposition. They stayed outside my house, showed up every day, served me with a deposition in a case, and I want to mention what this case is. I'm not a party to this case. What does that mean? I am neither a plaintiff nor a defendant. I'm what's called a witness, or so Meg Thee Stallion claims. So they stuck out or staked out in front of my house, in front of my headquarters for months, daily, shifts. I'm watching these motherfuckers go get lunch. They're just sitting there. I'm like, oh, wow, this is dedication. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Eventually, because I'm doing, eventually I'm still going to live my life. A guy who was dressed as, like he was a courier of some other sort says, hey, are you Akademiks? Say to him, I'm like, motherfucker, you know where you at? Yeah, I am. Says, well, you've been served. I look at it and it's a subpoena to be deposed. Now, I was a little bit shocked. Why was I shocked? Because I knew Meg was suing Milagro. Because respectfully, me and Milagro have had very few conversations. I did a one in-person interview with her. This was right after the Tory case. I flew her out to Miami because I used to record down there at times. But we never really had much conversation outside of stream. Most of our conversations, and I want to say 99% of them, are going to be captured on stream. But they felt that I had information on Meg Thee Stallion, who's the plaintiff, suing Milagro Graham. I don't even remember talking to her on the phone. I know I texted her about meeting up to do an interview. I've met her one time in life. We don't have that buddy-buddy relationship. We're not texting each other constantly. And just to be clear, if she's watching, we're also not beefing. I respect her, and I think she has some respect for me. So, okay, I get served. I want to provide some facts here, people, because, in this new atmosphere, I see people start using these words when people say things that might just seem out the realm of what your commonality or understanding could be. They're like, oh, this person, I seen someone mention schizophrenic. Now, not in terms of me, because I'm highly intellectual. Nobody would never dare do that. But they mentioned that when they thought there was individuals espousing theories that were clearly make-believe, that were clearly beyond the scope or the pale of anything that could be rooted in reality. This was some shit that was just batshit crazy. 6ix9ine called me. I'm going to hit him back after. Okay. Now, I want to be honest with y'all. I was also in that boat as well. Until I'm thinking, you know what? Why do they want a deposition out of me? I don't know. Okay, we'll see. So we do the deposition. And I want to Google this that people can't be like, Ak, you're lying. What is the maximum time for a federal civil deposition? The maximum time, and this is, shout to whatever AI this is, for a federal civil deposition is generally 1 day of 7 hours. Have you ever been questioned for 7 hours? Let me put this in perspective. Imagine being questioned for 7 hours about a case or pertaining to, or remember, they say I'm a witness. I'm not a party. I'm not a defendant, nor am I a plaintiff. I'm not a co-defendant, none of that. I'm a witness. They thought I had so much information. They needed to use, remember, the maximum time is 7 hours. That they used all 7 hours to question me. I want to quote, and by the way, I want nobody hit up this judge. And actually, I won't even mention his name here because this is a good Jersey. He's a Jersey federal court judge, and I don't want y'all to harass him. But this eventually went in front of Jersey Federal District Court. And they scolded Roc Nation's lawyers / Meg Thee Stallion lawyers over at Quinn Emanuel, and they said, why do you need more time with Livingston Allen, a.k.a. DJ Akademiks? We've read the original complaint. It's Meg Thee Stallion versus Milagro Cooper. Livingston Allen, a.k.a. DJ Akademiks, is mentioned one time. Why is he so critical of a witness that you need more than the 7 hours that the federal guidelines allow you? I want you guys to use common sense here. The judge, chat, I ain't even had a lawyer there. The judge was violating them. The judge said, I'm concerned about the practices that Roc Nation lawyers, Quinn Emanuel, that represents Megan Pete, a.k.a. Meg Thee Stallion, are employing. Keep in mind, so let me tell you how this went. They had to come to the District of Jersey to try to, what they call, compel me, which means to get me to do more shit, because I don't live in Florida. So the original case is in Florida. They served me, so I could have ignored it, but then they would have came to Jersey court to enforce it. So I just did it. I did 7 hours. I did it 7 hours. They still weren't happy. So now they got to come to Jersey court, and they did. And we went to an in-person hearing, and the judge said to them, I am concerned. Why do you need to speak to a guy that was mentioned? And by the way, this is the same thing happening with Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is mentioned one time as well in the complaint. And here's a kicker. Because I've spoken to Aiden Ross's, I won't say who. I don't even think Aiden's going to do the deposition. They said to them, legally, Aiden doesn't know the defendant. He's never heard of the defendant's name. No disrespect to Milagro. He's never heard of her. Why is he a witness? What information could he have? Chat, I just need y'all to use your brain. Just use your brain. Just use your brain. So I mentioned one time, again, I don't have a lawyer. I'm going up against the $200,000 lawyers from Quinn Emanuel. By the way, I could have had a lawyer. But this shit was just, I just had to tell the judge, yo, judge, listen, I did 7 hours. I'm not a party to this case. What more? I had to hit him with a Tyrese. What more do you want from me? The judge agreed. The judge said, I read through the initial complaint. Meg Thee Stallion versus Milagro. Akademiks, aka Livingston Allen, is mentioned one time. How could he have such important information that you only mention him one time that you need more than 7 hours, which is the maximum amount of time to question him? I'll tell you what they said. Well, when he was talking to us, he was long-winded. Oh, he was like, we think he recorded it, which the judge was like, huh, and? Okay, what? Like, the judge didn't want to hear that. They're trying to figure it out. Why do you need more information? Then the judge jumps back in. The judge says, Miss Manillo, her name is like Joanna Manillo or something like that. That's the lawyer that was the front lawyer. We are severely concerned because after reading the deposition and I read through the transcript, shout out to that judge, man. He said, we are concerned that the questions and the path of questioning that you went down doesn't seem related to your current case in Florida. You're asking about people who are not even alleged or mentioned. Who are those people? Drake, Nicki Minaj. Why are these relevant things? This is where Roc Nation lawyers, by the way, I'm in the hearing. This is the last time I court, not today. Because today we did the 45 minutes. Yo, they got so humbled, they couldn't really act shit today. So I'm just sitting there while they were like, yo, there was a point that they were like, yo, like, I think Milagro lawyer was like, yo, I can't see the exhibits. They were like, oh, could you share your screen? Remember I told you when they try to share their screen, they showed the chat. The chick like, we're just going to email you. We're not going to share our screen because of obvious reasons. I'm like, y'all look like y'all don't know how to share the screens over there. Y'all gonna share the chat. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. So the judge says to them, could you explain to us or explain to me, because apparently this again, I would have never had to do this, but the magistrate, he's a magistrate judge. His name is Brendan Day. Don't harass him, please. I love him. He took an expedited hearing for Meg Thee Stallion because their trial, so Milagro versus Meg Thee Stallion, that trial is starting in November. So they claim I had the most important information. Like I had it. So the judge actually said, hey, Akademiks, usually these matters could be dealt with in 30 days. Because at first I was like, I might get a lawyer. And then the judge said, this is going to be their trial starts in November. We got to do it now. Right? So the judge is asking Roc Nation's lawyers, why do you need this? Why do you need Akademiks for more information? And then he asked, I read through the deposition that he did for 7 hours. I'm concerned. Why are you asking about Drake and Nicki? These are people who aren't party to this. This is the bullshit answer. And y'all pull the transcripts. We were on the record, so I think there should be, it should be in the transcripts because we were on the record. They said in court then, Your Honor, well, we have more details that we're unwilling to reveal right now, but we're going to present it in court. But we believe that the defendant, they're told by Milagro, through other means and with other people, they basically were trying to describe a RICO. They said that she was getting paid through other means and other peoples to say certain things that was defamatory to our client, and that other people used her as a mouthpiece and blah, 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 blah. And the judge said, do you have anything that could substantiate that shit right now? And they said, Judge, well, certain things we plan to reveal at trial, but we have a few things. And the judge is sitting there like, yo, Roc Nation, y'all got a lot of money, but y'all can't buy a good judge. Y'all can't buy a good judge. I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all. Y'all can't buy a good judge. Because he sat there and he said, so the judge then says to them, okay, so I read through the brief. By the way, it was like 1,000 pages because it had the 7-hour, everything was in transcripts. It was like 1,000 pages, the shit that the judge had to read. And I ain't gonna lie, he was on point. I'm gonna tell you, he called on me afterwards. He said, well, I've read through it. From what you guys have said in your motion to compel, he sat through 7 hours. He's not a party to this case. He's not a party to the case at all. He sat through 7 hours. Are you saying, what did he not answer? And they couldn't bring up he put it on social media. Because in their thing, they were saying, he took it as a joke. He was clowning us. The judge don't care about that. He's under oath. If he lies, that's a lie. And I don't lie. So I ain't lie. I know I'm on oath. But y'all getting embarrassed by me online, that got nothing to do with nothing. So the judge dealing with facts. So the judge says, from what I read, y'all are claiming he ain't answered one question. They said, yes, Your Honor, that's what it is. They said, so why do you need 3 hours more? They were asking for 3 hours more. You did 7 hours with the nigga. You claim he ain't answered one question. Why do you need 3 hours more to ask him about one question? Well, Judge, we have some follow-up. And by the way, they definitely capped about this. Look on the record. They said, we've gotten some new information that suggests that Akademiks got paid. And I was like, huh? By the way, today I'm sitting in a deposition, never brought it up. Never brought it up. All they asked me was the same question. Do you remember who told you the information about the DNA? I was in there thinking. I was thinking. I don't recall. I recall, Chad. I recall. Chad. I recall. So for 45, so basically the judge told him, I'm not giving you the 3 hours. And the judge told him, I'm concerned that this deposition is going into another realm that is nothing material to your case. And you can't tell me, because you're saying, there's stuff we didn't reveal yet. You can't tell me anything that tangibly would tell me that he should answer more questions other than the one you claim he didn't. So I'm not going to give you 3 extra hours to talk to him. I'll give you, he was about to give him 30, but he said 45. I'm going to tell you why I even gave him that. And the judge, I want to say one of the fairest judges, and I fuck with him. He said to me, he said, hey, Akademiks, he said, stand up. I stand up, I'm talking to him. He said, there's 2 issues here. When you said in New Jersey, we have, and there's a recognized shield law, which means if you are a journalist or you operate in journalism and you have a source, they can't force you to give up your source. That's the thing. They said when they ask you who gave you the DNA info about the Tory shit, when you tweeted it, you said because of the nature of the business you were in, you wouldn't give it up. Which means you are invoking the privilege that exists under that law. Roc Nation's lawyers butt in. Hey, y'all, hey, y'all, hey, y'all, hey, y'all. Like, yo, hold on, man. Hey, y'all, hey, y'all. All right, go ahead. All right, hold on, give us a second. They're like, yo, well, we asked him in the deposition. We asked him if he's a journalist. He say when he want to be. He say like, yo, he just be thugging it. All these things I definitely did say, child, thugging it out here. So they're like, it's not all the way consistent with him doing journalistic things. When he wants to, he's a streamer. When he wants to, he's a this. When he wants to, he's a that. He's not always a journalist, so he shouldn't have journalist protection. And the judge says, well, I don't want to make a decision on that because the higher courts haven't even, remember, this is how it works in federal court. Magistrates, like when Diddy gets arrested, the first thing he sees is a magistrate. The guy who going to be for the whole case is a district. So you got magistrate, district, then you have a circuit court judge, and then you have Supreme Court. So the guy we're talking to is he don't want to make no, he basically explained it, and he was so smart. I love him, by the way. He says, listen here, Roc Nation. You want me to make a blanket decision that streamers could never be considered journalists. I'm not going to do that. That is something that is in the courts now. There is new media. There's people who might be streamers that might not be writing for a newspaper, that whatever, that they definitely will it will apply to them the journalist protection that would be the shield law. So if you want me to say because Akademiks calls himself a streamer, he's not a journalist, I'm not making that ruling. What I will do, and I'll put it on the record, is that I'll make a ruling for this time and this time only based on the conduct during this one time. Because you got to remember, there's a lot of things in precedent in court. So if they say, like if the judges said, oh, Akademiks, well, because that's what Roc Nation was saying. Yo, he never went to journalism school. He never went to this. He never did that. He don't have that. So he's not a journalist. The judge says, yo, we're in the space of new media. I think on TikTok could be a journalist. I'm not going to make the determination as you want me to say that he's a streamer, could never be a journalist. So it said we're going to analyze this on a one-to-one basis based on what it is. Cool. They give their reasons why they're like Akademiks was not acting like a journalist. He was acting like a media personality with an opinion, and it wasn't about just disseminating facts. He had a POV. That's what Roc Nation lawyer says. The judge calls on me and says, okay, hey, listen, I know you're representing yourself, but what do you have to say to that? And I said, Judge, my goal of even showing up here, because I could have not showed up and your motion would have been unopposed, I showed up here not to protect the idea that streamers could be journalists. I showed up here because I waived that because I answered their question eventually. So in 7 hours, when they first asked me, yo, are you going to tell us who gave you the info? I said I wouldn't tell y'all because I protect my sources. They're like, oh, they were throwing a fit like, oh, we're going to get the judge in here and try to force you to say it. And then I say, you know what? You don't even got to get the judge. I'm going to keep it a being with you. I don't remember who told me. So my thing to the judge was, hey, judge, I'm not even using that protection as a journalist. In reality, the shit I tweeted out, I'm telling you, I be off that hand rock. Right now, I'm off that down Julio. I don't remember who told me. And the judge looked at Roc Nation's lawyers and said, hey, I can't read people's minds. I got no reason to not believe Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen is basically saying, okay, he did raise the question. He did raise the point of maybe what the shield law is on the record during the deposition, but by the end of the deposition, he said twice, hey, fuck the shield law, I don't recall. I can't read his mind. He say he don't remember it. The nigga don't remember it. I don't remember it. I'm on some Woody shit. I don't remember. I don't recall. So, the judge, which, every fair judge is going to be in the middle with most things. He said, hey, and this was his rule, and said, hey, Akademiks, I'm going to be honest with you. You have not try to protect your right of being a journalist today. You're not asserting your right to be protected by the Shield Law. In fact, you have said that you did answer the question. You just said you didn't recall. And then he basically asked this question. He said, hey, I don't want, if I give another deposition, which I wouldn't do, and he literally said to them, he said, Roc Nation, I'm not doing it for 3 hours. I might do it for 30 minutes. But if I give y'all 30 more minutes with him to delve into this question, just because at first he raised the question or raised the idea of the Shield Law, and today in court he's not sitting on it, or pause, he's not standing on it. He's basically saying that he felt like he answered it. He said to me, even though we're off the record, he said he's going to say he doesn't recall. I can't force him to say anything else. I can't read his mind. He seems credible. He's going to tell you he doesn't recall. Are you guys okay with me giving a limited scope deposition, an addition? However, I don't want no questions about Drake and Nicki. And that was the agreement. So today we went in. They couldn't ask about Drake and Nicki. All they kept asking me was, do you remember who gave you that info? And I sat there and I'm like, I racked my brain. I ain't remember. So today, they got 45 minutes. They finished that shit in like 40. Like it was like 40 or like 35. They couldn't ask about Nicki and Drake. Today was the indictment for me to let me know all they wanted to ask about was Nicki and Drake. Nigga, they took every single moment of the 7 hours that they were unopposed. There was no judge kind of doing that. By the way, today I went into federal district court. So I went in there. We had the court reporter and the judge was in the back. They knew, the judge already told them you can't ask nothing about that shit. And because they couldn't ask nothing about that shit, they wrapped it up early. Think about that. Y'all wrapped it up early because y'all can't ask about Nicki and Drake. But when y'all could, y'all took 7 hours. By the way, and for all the people who be saying, go read the transcript. They pull up a tweet that said, yo, there's one point you tweeted that you might have got the info from Roc Nation. And I said, it's been a couple years. I don't recall. I be drinking my alcohol. But I said, if you're trying to jog my memory with my own tweet, I tweeted that Roc Nation gave me that. Not saying they did, but they could have been. Yo, they were so tight. They were so tight, bro. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. Jay-Z, bro. Yo, Jay-Z, if you would have gave me that $250,000 that you spent on this deposition, bro, I'll leave you alone, bro. Yo, Jay, just send me $250,000, nigga. I'll just leave you alone, bro. Don't pay the lawyers. Don't pay the lawyers. Now, let me tell you this. And this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I'll move on. And I want everybody who, this is the real shit that you need to hear. From every legal scholar, and I'm talking to some of the best lawyers on earth, this is what they've told me. They spent $200,000 on a deposition for Akademiks. The idea is not to get millions of dollars from Milagro Graham or Milagro Cooper. Don't know what her bank account looks like. I don't know if she has that much amount of money. Why would you spend $200,000 on a deposition for Akademiks? Which means you may have spent, they tried to, or they did one and then they tried to do it again. With Tory, you probably spent $50,000, maybe $100,000 for Tory. You spend this amount for that. This is at least a couple $1 million case. Why would you spend $2-3 million when you know the person you're suing probably doesn't have $2-3 million? Now, some people would say, well, no, they're doing it to send a message. Okay. I think people felt like Cardi B did that with what's in to send a message. Here's the thing where most lawyers have told me. They don't want nothing out of Milagro, bro. In reality, and just based off the question, because I've had real attorneys really good attorneys, review all this shit. They say, yo, Akademiks, let me tell you this. Roc Nation is trying to come after Nicki Minaj, Drake, trying to come after maybe gambling companies like Stake. But here's the thing. If they sue them directly, they're not going to go nowhere. They got millions, they got millions. It's just going to it's going to be a stalemate. The easiest way to build that lawsuit up at first is to use a shill. You sue Milagro Cooper, who doesn't have the, like, respectfully to even Milagro lawyer, she's out of her league. Respectfully to her, and I'm not disrespecting her. You sue Milagro Cooper, and you get every deposition or subpoena for a deposition in the world. Oh, you want a subpoena for Akademiks? Sure, even though I'm only mentioned once. You want a subpoena for Drake? Sure. Now, granted, you got to serve it. You're not going to catch Drake, but they caught me, right? You want a subpoena for Nicki Minaj? Sure. Here's the point about all of that. You know who hasn't? Because Milagro has tried to get a deposition because both sides are allowed depositions with quote-unquote witnesses. Roc Nation or Meg Thee Stallion got a deposition with me for 8 hours. Won a deposition with Drake. They're trying to serve him. They had mentioned Joe. They had mentioned all these people they wanted to serve. Milagro Cooper's lawyer wanted to have a deposition with Desiree Perez, who's the CEO of Roc Nation. Nobody could find her. Come on, bro. So what most highly educated lawyers are telling me is that this case with Milagro Cooper, it's a wash. They know her lawyer. They know she broke. Like, respectfully, I'm not trying to diss her. She don't got that much. They could wash her in court anytime. What they're using this as is, let's see if we could get Nicki in a deposition. Let's see if we get these bigger fishes in a deposition or info about them, because the real goal is to sue or to go after a Drake, a Nicki, and people of the sort. That's what I'm telling you. I'm speaking to the best lawyers. They're like, yo, Ak, I'm going to keep it a being with you, and you might think you good, but, like, you're broke compared to, like, what they really want. They want Drake. They want Nicki. Here's the thing. It's a strategy within the legal field. You file a lawsuit versus the brokest person who won't oppose anything, and you get a bunch of free subpoenas to go subpoena your ops in court. And when you catch them in court, because that's what deposition is, you subpoena them to answer questions, you then build a lawsuit you really want to build. So they really want Nicki Minaj. They really want Drake. I don't know what Desiree Perez, Meg Thee Stallion, and Jay-Z got against them, but those are the people they want. That's why today, when they were told they couldn't really ask shit about Nicki Minaj and Drake, they ain't really got much for me. They were just asking me the same question over and over, and I was like, okay. But it's only because the judge put a stop to it. The judge seen through it. Why y'all keep asking about Drake? Y'all not suing Drake. Why y'all keep asking about Nicki? Y'all not suing Nicki. But you heard what I said? They're trying to use this weak-ass case to get info to get at Nicki and get at Drake. Roc Nation, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Roc Nation, Meg Thee Stallion. And again, you know, I'm speculating here with this, I'll be honest. I don't know if Meg Thee Stallion is aware of this, or maybe because they're her management company and they control, or they probably, you know, not even probably, they're affiliated with her legal team. Remember, chat, just think about this. Offset sued QC for this. Yo, how come I signed to y'all and then my lawyers were y'all lawyers? Chat, that's a conflict of interest. If I'm doing business with you and my lawyers are your lawyers, conflict of interest. Meg Thee Stallion is managed by Roc Nation. Her lawyers are Roc Nation lawyers. She don't have a problem with it. Why? Listen, Milagro sanctioned 100,000. Yo, yo, they wanted Meg Thee Stallion and her team so disgusting and desperate. Roc Nation wanted me to pay for not answering a question. They're like, "Oh, he's wasting the court's time." The court didn't even like address that. Wait, y'all have a case? He's not in the case. He gave y'all 7 hours of deposition. You really think you have a case to say that he should pay y'all? So they wanted me to pay for the deposition. Yo, chat, y'all want to pull it up? I'll pull it up. Let me pull it up. Now we got to pull it up. We should pull it up. Fuck all that talking, because all the sites that all them people that be pulling up this stupid ass case, I watch a couple of them. All they all hate me, so they be just talking crazy about me. They be like, "Yo, da 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 da." Hold on, let me see. Okay, got it. And then we're gonna get some other topics. Just give me a second, people. Where is it at? Is it this? Oh, just a bunch of text orders, right? Fuck. Give me 1 second. Give me one. All right, bet. Yo, chat, I gotta show y'all this goofy shit because y'all won't believe it, bro. Like, y'all won't even believe it. Y'all won't be like, "Yo, you're lying." I just want to show y'all this. And some people gonna think I'm complaining. No, I'm not. I'm talking about this to make content off of it. Nigga, they took 8 hours of my time. They're getting paid 200,000. I just want to make 100 bands off of it. I'm good. So I'm milking this shit. Fuck y'all niggas. If Jay-Z's paying 200,000 to get me deposed, yo, I got this shit like a Vlad TV interview. I'm finna drop it. I'm telling y'all, I'm dropping it like a Vlad TV interview. Cause I gotta get my 100 bands too. Well, not 200, but all right, hold on. What the fuck? Why won't it load? That's a lot of pages. That's why. Fuck. Just give me 1 second. And chat, for anybody who might ask, I will go down any civil case that I'm involved with like this, except if I'm a party to it. Like I let the lawyers do their thing, but the actual lawyers. But this one, I am not a party to. That's why I'm over here. I'm talking about like I don't give two fucks. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Let me just send this to. Give me a second. Here we go. Damn, this file big as hell. And we're gonna read through it for a little bit, and then I gotta give y'all like 6 hours anyway today. So like, chat, just chill out, like just cool out. We gonna get to some other shit. Damn, this shit man slow. We gotta get to the Julio Fulio case. Give me 1 second. This shit's taking forever. Okay, I got it. I'll pull the whole bitch up. Fuck is this taking so long? I just want to show you the full document. Y'all know I ain't no cap in my rap, but we gotta get straight to it, chat. You guys get straight to it. All right, did I download it?